I got to be careful what I say. Not really. Because, see, the door is open over there. See? So if they hear me saying this kind of stuff, I'm in a gospel mission, so they get hammered with the Bible twice a day here, right? So I was just thinking to myself, for example, when I first was experimenting with drugs back in the 1960s when I was 14, 15 years of age, right? All the LSD stuff, smoking pot, right? Mescaline, peyote, run the gamut, right? You're Superman. What is this shit? What does it do to you? You know? You don't live in any fear, right? Hey, you want to jump off a cliff? Yeah, let's jump off a cliff. Anyway, but I was reminded when the courts finally got a hold of me and said, okay, you got to go into a drug diversion program, right? So when you're an Indian and you got a soul, you know where you need to go, right? You know, because one of the programs that I went into, I could write a book on this shit, okay, right? Don't get me into the English language about the sound of words, because let's face it, the English language was Babylonian babble shit to begin with, okay? I used to tear apart their language inside and out because there's a lot of other words that rhyme with the same letters, but we don't have any problem saying those things, so why should we have a problem saying other things as long as you know what I'm communicating with emphasis, right? No, it's got to be this way. It's all about control. Everything is always about control. It goes all the way back to rule-based function. Remember I talked about the APA manual? Remember? Right? Forget about just writing a letter and letting your heart flow. If your energy, your spirit can feel the way that flows right out of your heart, that's how it's supposed to come out. That's energy. No. You got to stop it every 25 liters, stop 25 liters, stop 25 liters, stop. Oh man, you fucked it up. These people don't know how to communicate nothing. That's why I throw all their junk away. It's worthless. Not completely. It's a way to find out how they program people to go in reverse. That's why I went to their schools. Not that there isn't information that's valuable that you can pull out of that stuff, right? Because there is. Okay? Those are the qualifiers and the givens. And so what I'm saying here is I began thinking to myself, because there's a guy next to me. Okay, he's got his Bible out on his bed, right? And this is the guy that tried to kill himself. So he's looking for all the answers in that book, right? And I've been trying to show him that, I know all about healing, bud. I went through alcoholism. I recovered from that. I had to kick that demon out. I've been through this shit. So I thought, here are some tools that'll help you. So instead, I realized that I was hitting him with all kinds of resources, everything that I share on here, and it's just not being absorbed. So instead, because they're hammering him with, in other words, he's locked into the program, okay, because that's what it is. Because it gets externalized. And this is what I found out, because I was thinking about when I went to the first drug rehab place that the court said, you can go to anyone you want, but as long as you come back here in 6 months, you better have a letter so that we can get rid of this charge. Cool, I'll go do that. The first place that I went to was called Synanon, and this is how they were going to rehabilitate people, okay? This is how sick this shit is. If you, for example, left a cigarette butt where it wasn't supposed to be, as punishment, this is what they did to you. They put a toilet seat over your head and you had to walk around with a pair of diapers on, okay? In other words, tear you down as if I'm worthless. I'm just crap, okay? And they think that they're going to be able to rebuild somebody, okay, to learn how to love themselves again that way. That's going in reverse, isn't it? This was Norwalk State Mental Hospital, okay, where they had drug rehab programs there, detox and drug rehab. So I said, well, obviously this isn't going to work. This isn't what I need, because I went deep into my heart and I realized I got to find some place where there's healing, because what I need is love, okay, not more abuse. So I went to a place called Jericho Outreach, which is out in Chino, California, and this was a Christian-based program. So I thought, hey, I grew up in the churches, right, okay, which is supposedly they teach about God as light, right? Light's creation. Love is what light is. Well, they got that right? And this guy named Jesus Christ, he's teaching everybody about resurrecting your spirit, right? Because you can come out of that body and all the rest of that. right? So there's some truth in some of this if you look at it through the lens of quantum energy, right? But that's not how it's interpreted, right? It's all about externalizing something that is external to you, and that's where the solution is, rather than going deep inside who you are, because that's where the solution is. You got to do the inner work. So what ends up happening is that it doesn't translate very well, which means, oh, I go and I read in this book, I understand what it means. But if it's not translated through the inner you that is living what that book says it is, then it doesn't mean anything, because it doesn't translate in what I experience through your behavior. See? And that's what's called reverse programming, because they already know that it's not going to work. Okay? But because of the programming, and they know that you're always doing things that are not in service to yourself, which means it's not in service to others, which means you're doing things that's draining all your light and draining the light in others. So if they don't understand how that works, which is healing the inner self so they get their love back for themselves, which translates to love and service to others. Okay? So this is why I thought, okay, the other day you needed some space. That's cool, brother. I gave you as much information I thought might be able to help you. If you can absorb it and it clicks, it makes good sense to you, and you apply it in your life and things go well for you, then great. Then at least the information was helpful, right? So these are the things that you got to deal with, okay? And it's just more of the same, if you will. It's the measurements, okay, that you can quantify across the field, right, of everything that happened here, at least in my life cycle, that I tried to put together and quantify it in some qualitative way of the amount of damage that was done here. You know, that's what I was doing, quantifying, just like what's his name, Chief Orrin Lyons. He's a pioneer, right? Biotechnology. Okay, was trying to make an assessment of how much damage was actually done, not only to her in this classroom, but everybody that's here and everything in nature, right? So, you know, that's why when you're in civilization and you're interacting with people that are running obviously in reverse because of the programming, this becomes what we experience, and it's painful, obviously, because you love these people, you care about these people, and because of that, it's like I'm always dropping things, you know. Even when I go into their chapel and say things, and a pastor will come in, and I'll just throw a couple words out there and see if it clicks.